Helen, how are
Really,
you?
really, here she is.
Hi.
Hi, Lolly.
Amazing to have you with me. And we've got a lot to talk about, haven't we? AI tools, obviously, because how can you not? It's 2024 after all. And, we got to talk about, public speaking, which is something that you and I both have a thing for, especially you, because that's your profession.
So there are tools that are available also for public speaking, people who want to become better at public speaking. So it seems smart
Would they
to.
replace you, though? I mean, seriously, you're the coach. Do you really think that an AI tool could replace Helen Gottstein?
There are certainly some things that I can't do, that there are some public speaking AI tools that are going to do far, far better, like repetition, somebody experiencing a space that's completely judgment free. You can just click repeat until you get pronunciation or hit a particular element in your speech consistently in a way that somebody wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable if they were doing it in person.
So you believe that we're going to get to the point where when I'm receiving my Pulitzer Prize or having a TED talk, instead of coming to you for to consult with on my speech, I'm actually going to be speaking to some kind of AI agent. I'm going to be delivering my speech and is going to say, Billy, that is the biggest pile of twaddle that I've seen for a very long time. You can't go on stage like this. And here are my points why. A, B, C, D, E. You need to change because nobody understands what you're talking about. You believe we're going there?
I think that some of the parts of preparing a TEDx speaker, which is what I've done, can be replaced by some of the tools I'd like to share in a moment, because one of the things that TEDx speakers have to do is learn their text off by heart, and they also have to speak in an accent which is accessible to the worldwide audience that is listening to TED or TEDx speeches. So there are tools out there that can help you with pronunciation and help you with making sure you've got all the elements of a speech down by heart consistently. And these tools can be helpful with something like that.
Cool. So I know that you've prepared for this, and I know that you've got some really cool tools to share with me on some of the tools that can help with public speaking or improving your public speaking. So please share. And I don't just want the good stuff. I want you to be sharing also the dodgy stuff with us, okay? Because we don't only like to sugarcoat.
Yoodli is one which is perfect for big companies that need public speaking training of particular texts, like sales stories or responses to frequently asked questions for the customer success team. Specific text that your company has decided, like management down or possibly also bottom up. These are the texts that work best. These are the case studies that we should speak to because they're most effective in moving our customer from A to B, or, quietening a concern that somebody has.
Is it a dialogue or is it just one person speaking? Is it sort of like the salesperson giving his spiel and then like the other side shutting up, or is it sort of like, is it an interaction?
It gives you real-time feedback. So as you're speaking, it'll tell you, it may be a bit small on your screen, but it'll tell you, a little slow, speed up. And at the end, like many of these tools, you get a report about what percentage of filler words you used. And it helps you also track your improvement from session to session or week to week, like what that progress chart looks like. I'm not sure, but probably from session to session. What I had concern with was, potential lack of localization. So speed of text, speed of verbal delivery, something which is very, very much shaped by your geographic culture. What works in one country is different from what works in another, even in the global world we move in today.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I'll go further and say one of the criteria that it looks at and gives you feedback on is the percentage of filler words you use. So it can give you a report that says something like, you used 3% less filler words today. But we know from the vocal version of ChatGPT that filler words and the occasional pause or repetition in verbal delivery is so important to the way humans are used to hearing speech that the verbal version of ChatGPT has built them in artificially.
Oh, really?
So you hear ChatGPT like reading out the text in a standard American accent, delivered by a male voice. It'll have the occasional repetition or in order to make the speech sound more human. So for me, I don't think we need to sound like robots. I think we need to sound like people who are communicating things that they care about effectively. And that doesn't mean never having a filler word. So
you're recommending Yoodli, but you're saying don't take it as gospel because some of the stuff that it's recommending is actually a natural part of speech that you shouldn't drop. Otherwise, you will start sounding like ChatGPT voice.
Yeah, I love that you summed that up beautifully. You'll sound like ChatGPT without the adaptation to talking like a human being. What it is great for is training at scale. You've got 400 salespeople. Yoodli may be really, really great for you. On the awful, like unsuccessful side of the scale, I found Pronounce to be trying to sell me a product that I don't think I'd want. It's a headset. You can see in the picture this woman is enthusiastically speaking into a headset that you have to purchase. You can't download the 45 hours of training that it offers. You have to purchase the headset and
So old school. I don't understand why anybody would invent a hardware product like that for something like this. Everybody likes their own personal headsets as well. Some people like their earpods. Some people like their Bose ones, like I do, like sit on my head. But I'm not sure that these would be comfortable for me. So I don't understand in advance why a company would bother with shipping as well. Yeah.
So I love that. That's really a great point. Like, why this headset? So their product is based on the principle of like the headset reads something like reverberation in your bone structure in order to help you get pronunciation completely accurate. And I think that we've seen tools that are just so far ahead of this now. I'm not sure if this company's already defunct.
I was going to say, can we assume that they won't be around much longer?
I think we might pronounce its death quite soon.
Okay, look, we don't want to be liable here, but hey, we're just not giving it a strong recommended. Try it out.
Yeah, and also I would say annoying to have to give your email in order to see a demonstration of how the product works. Like, don't be so precious, people.
Yep.
Don't be quite so precious. On the truly awful, the most awful point that I have to offer, like enjoy, because I thought this one was hilarious. Verbal, it offers you instant speech writing. If there is any heartfelt recommendation that I can make during our time today, it would be don't use verbal.
Don't mince your words, Helen. You tell us like it is. You really just should, just bite into it and say exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Enough of this whiffle waffle.
It's just awful. I don't know if you can see, but because it's quite small and the print is not perhaps clear enough, but on your screen is a recommendation for the opening of a wedding speech. So beyond I will say, the appalling sexism in the imagery that is used, not because all the men, all the people who are doing business, they're all male. All the firm handshakes that are listed all over the site are two male hands in suits and white shirts. I mean, and then the audience is a young woman looking up at the stage with adoring eyes. Please, like, hold the bucket. But for me, the kicker was the text, which is actually on your screen now, which I'll read because it's inaccessible. It says a recommendation for how to open your wedding speech, which is the ultimate, like, what do we say, pasteurized processed cheese opening for any wedding speech you've ever heard. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today to celebrate the love and union of James and his beautiful bride. She doesn't even get a name, and it's just, I have a British friend who says it's just the bog standard. It's already boring. You can feel it's killing brain cells as you hear it.
For anybody who wants to travel in time, though, look, if you ever wondered, like, I wonder what a wedding speech in the 19th century would sound like, you could use this tool and you don't need to go any further.
And then the one I'm a little bit on a fence about, some things I really liked about this product and some things I just wasn't sure about. So, Orai, sound more confident, become more powerful public speakers. What I really liked about this was the following. It gives you feedback on your structure. Now, one of the reasons people work with me is that I am strong on build the structure around how you're going to open, so you know how you're going to open your speech. It makes sense in terms of the goals you want to achieve. It connects with the audience. It is great on creating structure that makes sense for your goals and the audience and so on. So that I loved about this.
So you speak. So first of all, I've got a draft of a speech that I'm going to be presenting in a couple of weeks. I would present my speech, and then this tool would come back to me and say, Billy, you're bonkers. You need to move minute 20 to minute 15 or to minute 5. You need to rearrange and talk about this first. Is that what it does? Like, literally, it says, this is the sentence you need to be opening with. It's really like, because that's what you do.
Yeah. So I don't remember the degree of interactivity, and I doubt that it interrupts clients as much as I do, which is, somebody says 3 sentences and I'm like, stop, let's unpack that, let's bring it back. I'm sure it's far more polite than I am. So if you're looking for polite, this might be your friend. I don't know the degree of interactivity. Does it tell you like now, like reevaluate your opening immediately? That I can't tell you. But what I really liked about this was it also gives you storytelling advice. It'll say things like, is that do you have a more personal story? Is there a personal story that you could bring in at this point? Can you make that case study more personal, or something in that kind of spirit? The degree of interactivity I can't relate to. My concern with this was, again, very, very Western. Now, many companies want first to break into the American market, so perhaps it makes perfect sense, but it felt very, very Western, as also in terms of the structural analysis that it offers. So of all the tools you've seen today, I am most personally threatened by Orai. If Orai, don't come for me, Orai is where I've finished.
Helen, you have nothing to fear. There is only one Helen Gottstein, and no AI tool could come anywhere close
to as rude as me,
as fun, as professional.
Oh, Lolly,
on the ball.
I
You got
appreciate
it all.
that. I appreciate that,
But
Lily.
hey, look, you've opened my eyes to really to the AI tools out there. I had no idea that these tools existed. To be honest, maybe if I had to deliver many speeches all the time, I'd be like, yeah, it's easier for me to use a tool than to work with a consultant. But if I've only got 2 or 3 big speeches a year that I really care about, for me personally, I think I'd still be coming to you, Helen, get no chance of getting rid of me. So I think that's another factor as well. Like, when do you start paying for a tool? How big of an organization? But I guess that's sort of I think these companies take that into consideration with their business model. Closing words, Helen, do you feel that we've chewed the fat enough? Is there anything else that you haven't said that you want edited in before we say parting words?
I think just like we've continued to see how people use large language models change and adapt. And some people are always going to prefer something like Perplexity over ChatGPT, even as ChatGPT comes out with more and more versions. There's always going to be a place for free tools today. And it makes sense to know what's out there.
Yep.
And it makes sense to know, like always, how you differentiate yourself as a service provider from the other service providers out there.
Sure.
I feel both encouraged and challenged by seeing what else is out there. And Yoodli, no challenge to me. I'm not trying to bring in 300 people across the globe on scale. That's not my niche.
Cool. Helen, fun and educational as always. You're the goat. Helen.
Yes. Ciao, Billy. Bye for now.
On the neck of the woods. Speak to you soon. Bye.